Autoweb. Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, the #1 resource for automotive sales professionals, managers, and owners to learn how to make money, accumulate wealth, and to all out ball out in the auto industry. And now your hosts, Sean V. Bradley and L.A. Williams.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Autoweb.
Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, the president of Dealer Synergy. Like I told you people, I'm about this life. That ain't a sticker, you know what I mean? And I got a special guest, Robert Lowery. He's from Lexus of Winter Park in Florida. And man, I got to tell you right now, I had met him on Clubhouse. I was interviewing and speaking to another high-level performer, and he was sharing with me some of his background. I was like, damn, I got to get this brother on my podcast and on the Facebook group. So Robert, welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group and the podcast. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me. I'm glad I can share.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it because you look young, man. How long have you been in the automotive industry for?
Man, come on, man. Come on. I'm 37. I've been in the automotive industry since 2010. I came in as a technician. I went to UTI down here in Florida. I started at a Ford dealership, worked for Ford for 2 years. Then I went to an Infiniti dealership, was there for about 8 years. That's where I got most of my automotive experience. I was working on cars, doing heavy line work, transmissions, time and change. Then I wanted to make more money. Got with the GM of that store and said I wanted to be a manager, actually. And he said the next step was a service advisor. Did that for 3 years. And that's really where I learned most of my experience as far as selling and everything. I did not respect the service advisor position until I actually did it. Everybody said, oh, that's the hardest job at the dealership, blah, blah, blah. And as a technician, I was like, man, look at they plush little office. It ain't hard until I did it. And man, selling to a customer that do not want to be there is a challenge. So I did that. I was one of the top performers at that store. And again, you're just learning how to sell and you just working my tail off, man.
So you said that you worked as a service writer before?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, let me tell you this right now. I cannot wait to get into this because I was just speaking to a large dealer group client of mine, and my exact words are, I don't understand why more salespeople do not work the service drive. NADA says that a service customer is 7 times as likely to purchase a vehicle from where they service their car from. Fact 1. Fact 2 is I personally believe, for being in the business almost 23 years now, that salespeople don't work the service drive, not because they're lazy or they're stupid, which is bullshit, right? I believe the main reason is because they don't know how. They don't know what to say. They feel awkward. Now, I know a lot of managers and people say, work the service drive. Well, okay, easier said than done. Like, what do I do? What do I say? So don't say anything now, Robert, but I want to get into that a little bit later, but I want to hit the punchline here. One of the things that really impressed me is that when you went to work at this Lexus dealership, you broke a store record the first month on the floor. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us about that. Like, what did you do?
Well, I got the GM after the first month. He told me that I broke the record in gross sales. So 22 cars. And I honestly thought he was just pulling my leg. Like, really? I mean, I think the dealership I worked at been there since 1989. And I did not see myself as some great salesman. So I'm thinking, you telling me since 1989, nobody has never sold 22 cars. Like, it didn't sound realistic. Number one, my goal that month was 30 cars. I had naive optimism. I seen, as I was going through training, I seen the number one guy in my training month sold 23 cars. So I was like, well, let me just try for 30. Didn't really know what I was saying. I'm gonna try 30. So in my mind, I didn't hit my goal, which was 30. I hit 22. And I was just shocked to hear that broke a record because I'm thinking 22 really wasn't a big deal. But yeah. So 22 cars, and he said I broke the record.
Wow. Okay. And just so people are paying attention here, you work for Lexus. So selling 20 Kias is different than selling 22 Lexuses. There's more gross potential. There's more commission. There's a highline customer, yada, yada, yada. So, but here's what I want to say. The national average is still only 10 cars or like technically 9.6. So you got to think about it. There's about 16,500 franchise dealerships in the United States, 16,500 franchise dealerships. That means if the average dealership has about 10 salespeople, there's 165 4,000 showroom sales consultants in the country. Out of that, the average salesperson only sells 10 cars. You more than doubled the average salesperson in your very first month in the automotive industry, and you did it at Highline. So what I heard you just say is that you almost didn't know any better. You know what I mean? Like you didn't think like when you first had to go with 30.
Yes, sir.
You know, it wasn't like, wow, this guy's crazy. 30 cars, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. You were like, man, I'm gonna do 30. And so when you did 22, you weren't proud or excited. You were disappointed you didn't hit your goal. You know, because you realized how important it is. So other than not knowing the significance of selling 20 or 30 cars, how else did you do it? Like, how does somebody that's never sold cars before ever in their life, how do they sell 22 freaking Lexuses in 1 month? What did you do? Was it all ups? Was it phone? Was it service? What did you do?
My very first month, it was all ups. It was all ups. I gotta say, I worked bell to bell. We opened at 8:30. We closed at 8 o'clock. I was there at 8:30 every single day. On average, I left around 7 o'clock, and I only left the hour before close, because if you're number 10 on the list at 7 o'clock, you know you're not going to get to, you know, there's no need to stay there. So I worked bell to bell every day and on my day off. Again, and oh yeah, and another thing too, I want to share that I think this may be important. This was the month that I sold those cars was in, I believe it was August in 2020, in the middle of COVID. I was actually let go from my Infiniti job. So I was like, okay, ain't no problem. I'm very valuable. I found another gig selling, ain't no big deal. Found the Lexus dealership in 3 days. So this is in the middle of COVID. They just has let go a lot of people, and you know, a lot of dealerships wasn't hiring. So that's another reason why I was so diligent, because it's like, man, this is in the middle of COVID, and you may know everybody thought business wasn't gonna go well in the middle of COVID. We didn't know what to expect. So I was working my tail off because I thought it wasn't going to be much up. So I better work, you know, get in front of as many people as I can. So those 22 cars was 100% all ups.
That's amazing. Now, if there's anybody that's in the Facebook group that wants to ask questions, just post your questions in the comments or add some comments for Robert, because this is truly amazing. But Robert, wow, you know, like, what I just got out of that is you just personified and validated what I believe and I preach, is that car sales is simple. You could make as much money as you can earn, but the key word is not entitlement or given or finagle, it's earn. You put in that work. You worked extra hours. You went in on your day off. Now, I'm not saying that you need to sacrifice your family and your work-life balance and all that stuff, but I mean, that's how you did it. You went in and you just got it and you did it. So a lot of people.
Sean.
Yeah, what's up, brother?
Sorry. Yeah, I just want to say something to that. When you say work-life balance, I believe a lot of people are limiting themselves by even using that term.
I agree too.
And I say that because I believe in our culture, it's normal to have a great goal until it's hard. Then when it's hard, it's like, oh, work-life balance. Wait a minute. Are you serious about your goal, or is it work? It's like you have to incorporate your work with your life. It's one. And I think there's some people that's hiding behind the work-life balance. It's like, listen, I got a commitment to my family. I don't want no 10-car check. So when I set that goal, when my manager went over the plan and let me know how much I can make if I sold 30 cars, my goal was 30 cars. I was committed to that goal. Yes, I worked my tail off. And then again, too, when you are working your tail off and you got a big goal, it ain't forever. So I think we got to be careful to not use work-life balance as a crutch to say, oh man, you know, because it's a slippery slope. So I just want to say that, as you said, work-life balance, I believe a lot of people hide behind that term to really not work their tail off. And they say, oh, I got to have work-life balance. And they're not really committed to their goals. So I just want to share that.
I would agree with you. And I'm going to even raise some on here and say that there's also people that are lazy, man, that are just freaking lazy, and they feel that they're entitled. They don't understand that this is not a normal job. This is a career, meaning that what you put into it directly is going to correlate to what you get out of it. If you come in late If you get to the dealership and you're in the huddle talking, complaining, blah, 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 bullshit, talking about this woman that got killed and this guy that's on the run. And like, I'm in dealerships and I hear people talking about what's on the news and what's on, like, that's not going to pay your bills. And you said you've got a family. I mean, like, I don't know how you're going to go to work. You're going to kiss your wife and your kid, goodbye. You're going to go to work, spend 6, 8, 10, 12 hours in a day and get nothing done because you're wasting time talking about what you're going to order for lunch or who's winning the football game or whatever it is. But people like you that understand that this is a work mode, that you've got to go in and start to build, are able to reap those benefits. So now I want to start talking about your service background, right? So here's what I'm going to say. Almost all of the highly successful people that I know, that I train, that I work with, that for example, like Cody Carter. Cody Carter sold 154 cars at Tustin Toyota on the showroom floor. Like, he's on the cover of Dealer Magazine. You have the Ali Reyes that sold 200 cars in 1 month. You know what I mean? Like, they have an assistant or two assistants. But my point being, how do they do this? Their schedule is very, very strong. They go in early. Cody Carter goes to work 2 hours earlier. And why? Because he says that he can turn around and get stuff done. It takes him at that level some time to process, to plan, organize, instead of just coming in and blah, 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 and trying to do it as you go. I know a woman named Morgan Anderson who works at White Marsh Chevrolet in Maryland. She sells 46 cars a month, my brother. And you know what's funny? She gets 18 cars a month from the service drive. 18 cars a month from the service drive. But you know what she says? She too goes to work 2 hours early. Why? Because working the service drive doesn't happen at 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yep.
People usually come into service earlier, 7:30, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, yada, yada, yada. So the early bird does get the worm. Do you go to work early still, or how does that work right now? What's your schedule like?
Well, the thing right now is I got two boys, Isaiah and Joshua, 7 and 3. And my wife and I just had twin girls.
Oh my God!
So we went, we went from 2 to 4 kids. So I did make it a habit. I was going to work earlier, and on average, it's about an hour and a half. But it's really a challenge because we stand up with the girls. So I ain't doing that crescent schedule. So I had to shift my approach, which I shifted more towards trying to fill up my pipeline versus just get all ups, because when you don't go in early, you kind of lose on ups. You know what I mean? It's like,
yes.
So that was the process I was sharing with you on Clubhouse about what I do as far as reaching out to customers.
Yeah, which we're going to get into in a second here, but I love this. So if you didn't have twin girls, God bless you, bro. I got 4 kids too, but I got 2 daughters. I got a 22-year-old, a 21 soon to be. I have a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old. So again, thank God they're spread out enough. I don't know how I'd handle twin girls, but if you didn't have the twin girls, you would still probably be going in early as well to get that extra opportunity, correct?
Yeah, it's honestly, man, and you probably don't know this, Sean. You fooling yourself going to work on time, man. It's like it's so funny, and I just want to share something too. What you were sharing about people having conversations. One thing I can tell that was a cancer at dealerships is talking bad about customers. You would be amazed on customers to be on a test drive and the salesman huddled around talking about how they not going to buy, how they wasting their time. And it's so amazing to me how often that was happening. So definitely you cannot perform when you around people that always got something negative to say about the customer, their personal life. You have to have the mindset of working the whole time you're working. Not getting to work and then preparing. You need to work the whole time you're working. And a part of that is if you're around, like the product specialist room that I'm in, around 18, 20 guys, I keep my headphones on. It's like, I don't want to hear most of the stuff that's being said, especially about a customer, even if it is a customer that's a waste of time. I'm not saying it. You know what I mean? I'm not mentioning nothing. I'm not going to go and share, because really it does something to you. It really adds to that negativity. So you really got to be around people and create an environment, man, that's really keeping you positive and focused.
Listen, I'm going to build on that on Franklin Covey, and this is a shame, okay? But this is so real. There's something called a paradigm. Paradigm basically means the way that you perceive and the way that you view something. For example, I'm first generation in this country. My father's from Belize, I got my mother's side of the family is from Honduras,
Yeah.
from Sicily, so I'm a minority. So if somebody said, for example, that Belizeans are this, okay, if that's what their paradigm is, a paradigm directly correlates to what you do. What Covey says is see, do, get. I'm going to repeat that for everybody listening. See, do, get. The way that you see somebody or something is going to dictate what you do, how you act, how you behave. And the way that you act and behave directly correlates to what you get, your result. For example, if I felt that a prospect was a liar, right? Their buyers are liars. Then how am I going to treat that prospect? I'm not going to treat liars and shady people very loving, very caring. I'm not going to go out of my way for them. I'm not going to dig deep. I'm not going to, make that extra phone call. I'm not going to do certain things because that's my perception. And what's my result? Well, if I'm not putting 110% in, then I might not be able to close that opportunity. However, if I felt that every single person that I'm in front of is truly a buyer, I just need to figure out how to convert that person into a buyer, then the way that I go into, the way that what I do is going to be different. The way I act is going to be different, and the results are going to be much better. So see, do, get paradigm. Now, we didn't plan this, but I got to tell you one thing I'm very passionate about, because I do special finance. And I've done special finance for like 20 years. And, even when I worked at Highline, when I worked at, Porsche, Jaguar, Aston Martin, even when I worked at Cadillac, and yes, Cadillac is technically Highline, people that make a lot of money or people that are rich have bad credit. I mean, think of athletes, think of rock stars, rap stars, think of business people between divorce, medical bills. I mean, just because somebody, has a lot of money does not mean at all that they have great credit. So my point being is that, I hear in dealerships the words like bogue, roach, mooch, rat, all these negative connotations about customers. And again, you're right. Words become things. If people are talking smack about somebody, I mean, first of all, it's just straight disrespectful. That's the first thing. It's just disrespectful. And then it just doesn't make any sense. If somebody is going to potentially be the reason why you make money, in your case, for your 4 kids and your spouse, then why would you ever disrespect somebody or say anything negative in any type of way, shape, or form? We need to cover these people. We need to love these people. We need to appreciate these people, and we need to treat these people with respect, dignity, and just common courtesy, man. So I'm glad that you brought that up, but it's crazy that it's even an issue.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Attention auto dealers, you need an opportunity to do business. AutoWeb is one of the largest suppliers of high quality leads, high quality buyers. At a 10% closing ratio, you will be at less than $190 per car sold. Don't just settle for what you get. AutoWeb can fully customize your results through targeted markets or zip codes, and as a partner, you will get premium placement within search results. Who better to do that than literally the people that invented automotive internet sales? If you want to sell more cars more often and more profitably, then you need AutoWeb.
Yeah, because what I learned is it makes you a phony. If you put a customer on the test drive, you talking smack about them while they on the test drive, they ain't gonna buy, they wasting time, they just dreaming, blah blah blah. They get back and then you try to crack a smile and say, it's like, really? Like, come on. I don't understand it either, but yeah, man, you got to treat people with respect. Of course, we know that, you know what I mean? But it's just so amazing on the very people I see always talking smack about customers is on the bottom of the board. You know what I mean?
Well,
you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah.
Robert, have you heard of The Secret, The Laws of Attraction? They made it the Netflix documentary.
Yeah, I heard of that before. Yeah.
I firmly am a big believer, and there's a lot of very successful, wealthy, powerful people that believe in the laws of attraction. And here's a simple synopsis. Like attracts like. If I am thinking and saying that this person's not a buyer, they're a liar, they're wasting time, believe it or not, usually it's true. Here's an example. If I said, which I don't believe for the record, but if I said auto web leads suck, right? Then think about this. If I felt that auto web leads suck, then I'm not going to really work those leads. I'm not going to stay late. I'm not going to make the extra phone call. I'm not going to try to find I'm not going to go because they suck. And what's my result? It's going to be, I was right. I mean, those leads did suck. I didn't sell any cars. But if I felt the truth, man, AutoWeb has been in business since 1995. Holy smokes. There's been over 100 million cars sold through AutoWeb. Oh my God. This AutoWeb lead, it's not really a lead, it's an AutoWeb buyer. Oh my God, like this is sacred. And I treated that like that. Guess what? Then that's going to be my reality. My point is, whatever you are saying most likely is what your reality is. If you're complaining that this person's an asshole, this person's wasting my time, this person's a liar, I would bet money that that's what that person usually sees all the time. It's almost like they willed it into existence. But if you change the paradigm and you focus on everybody is a buyer, everybody needs to buy a car. It's just my job to figure out how to put this deal together, how to create excitement, how to create urgency. I'm going to sell more cars more often, more powerfully, and more profitably.
Yeah, I just want to say something, Sean. Like, my mindset in sales is to sell like Amazon. This is what I mean.
Yeah, what do you mean?
This is what I mean. And this is my belief. You may push back on this, Sean. I don't know, because you're way more in this industry than I am. But when you go to Amazon, you look at a pair of shoes, you look at a bike, you don't buy it. The rep call you and haggle you with rebuttals on, hey, why you ain't buy the bike? Blah, blah. My point is, you got to focus on the funnel. Amazon puts so much into getting the customer to where the sales are being made that they're making money because the customer and the sellers meet. They focus on just getting the customer there. My point is, when a customer comes, I believe in car sales, the days of, oh man, you gotta mimic them and all that psychology stuff. Listen, my mindset is I'm gonna sell like Amazon. A customer come in, they not all that interested. I'm gonna give them customer service, but I'm not all those rebuttals. I'm just gonna service them. And it's so funny how many customers I get. It's like they're looking for me to like get them in. Yeah, I'll never forget. I sold a GX to a guy, right? And you already know this. You got some customers that they try to talk down on the car to bring the price down. It's like, I don't know what they're, so he's looking at this GX and he's like, man, this thing is so small, man. And he got something negative to say about everything. I opened up the trunk. Oh man, there's no room back there. I said, yeah, it's a third row. You can put it down, but most people who buy these trucks, they don't use the third row. Oh man, he got something negative to say about everything, right? And it was funny. He was looking for me to come back, trying to persuade him this is a great car. One thing I love about selling Lexus is, Sean, is everybody knows Lexus is a great car. So what I said to this guy, as I said, sir, you like you're a pretty smart guy. You did your research. You know this is a great car. Now, if this is too small, we can take a look at the LX. They're about 30 grand more, or we can go down, but you know this is a great car. That's all I said. I didn't go with no rebuttals. I didn't convince him that don't go over the Nissan or all that. I just listen, man, this is a great car. He ended up buying that car, by the way. That's the car he wanted. But the point I'm making is a lot of times we be so flinched to, oh, I got to come with a rebuttal. I believe trying to convince customers to buy, we are in the age of the most informed customer in history. We don't got all those rebuttals. Customers know what they want. When a customer comes to my dealership, they know they want an atomic silver RX with parchment interior. I'd be a fool if let me put them on this color. They know what they want. Listen to the customer, but I don't do all those rebuttals. I don't do all that talking. I rarely even talk about the features. I hope my manager not listen. I've found that customers like to purchase cars like a phone. When you got your phone, Sean, let me ask you, what kind of phone you got? iPhone, Android?
iPhone.
When you went and got your iPhone, right? You took it out of the package. Did you ask the service rep to explain the features?
Yes.
You did. Okay. I didn't. found most people don't. They want to play with it. Yeah, they want to play with it. They pull the phone out. They want to play with it. Open up the windows. The point I'm making is
I do it simultaneously. So yeah, I'll have the phone and I'm asking them as I'm swiping. I'm like, all right, show me the cool stuff. Okay, and so it's both. So yes, for the record,
I just want to say, when I first started selling cars, I was going on and on about the features. Oh, it has the intelligent cruise control, blah blah blah. I found the most customers, they just want to play with it. The point I'm making is all those rebuttals and trying to convince the customer. I think those days are over. When you look at the business model of Amazon, nobody's there trying to convince them to buy anything. The sales is in the funnel. So what I strive to do is focusing on having a full schedule.
All right, let me retort on this a little bit. I agree, but I think that your verbiage is a little off, because what you said before was a rebuttal. So I disagree with that part for our audience listening. So a rebuttal, it sounds like you have a negative perception of a rebuttal. Like I get it. There's some people that have a scripted things and they try to convince. I agree with you that's ridiculous and that's old school stuff. But what a rebuttal is to me as a trainer is a strategic response. So when you said to that person, that real prospect that was complaining all about the stuff, by you saying, listen, you did your research already and you know that the Lexus is a good car, that's a rebuttal, brother. I mean, that's technically classified as a rebuttal, but it's not an aggressive rebuttal trying to slam them in. So I do think that sales professionals need to be prepared for different scenarios. Like you're playing chess. If somebody says this or does this, how are you going to respond and react? Now, again, I don't mean hard slam somebody in or things like that. Yeah. Now, I want to also redirect a couple other points that you said, which I agree. I don't think that somebody should be at one time at band camp and going through a bunch of random shit here. I think, and this is just my opinion, doing this for 22 and a half years, when you up somebody, I don't care if it's on the floor, on the phone, or an internet, when you make that first engagement, after the greeting, the number one thing is to qualify your prospect. Okay? We need to be identifying a prospect's wants, wishes, expectations. Now, this is something, I don't know if anybody's ever shared this with you, but this is fact. NADA says the number one reason why people don't buy cars is because they're landed on the wrong car. Too much car, too little car, not the right car, which means two bad things for me as a trainer, in my opinion. One is that they weren't qualified properly, and two, they weren't TO'd, and worse, if they were TO'd, that TO manager didn't requalify them properly. So I think the way that should happen is this. When you engage a prospect, you need to qualify them from the door. And this is also a tactic, a strategy, is that you could say something like this: Robert, just so I know, I want to be able to maximize your time with me today. Are you looking to purchase a vehicle in the immediate future? Or is today just a fact-finding, gathering, session for information so you can make an educated decision later on? Now, I asked that personally for two reasons. One, because some people no, I want to buy a car today. Boom. Okay, so I recalibrate. That does not mean, for our audience listening, that I'm crazy or stupid, that if somebody says, no, I just want to research, that I think, oh, that's just a research. No, I want to be able to qualify and see where their mindset is. And then the next step is I'm going to qualify them on the vehicle, but then also other things. I want to find out what kind of car they're driving. Why? Because what they like about the vehicle, what they don't like about the vehicle, how they're going to use this vehicle, who's going to be the other drivers of this vehicle, different things that I'm going to try to ascertain. And once I get all those things, that's what helps me customize my features and benefits walk around presentation. Let me pause for a second so people listen to what I'm saying. For me, I don't do this McDonald's. A lot of salespeople, what they do is they do the same car sales process to everybody. I don't. And I'm very rare. My clients, I train them differently. What I say is the way that you present the value and whatever vehicle you're going to present should be predicated upon what the discovery session was, what the qualification session was, and go from there. Because if I'm talking to somebody, for example, that just told me that they just got twin girls, right? And I'm just going to make some stuff up. Okay. And let's just say you came out of the military, and let's say that your wife's a teacher. I'm just making a scenario up. Well, guess what? I'm going to customize my presentation on those variables. I'm going to talk about the features and benefits of this particular vehicle that are relevant to you. I'm going to talk about, for example, Lexus might have a first responder or military rebate. And even though you're not active anymore because you're the reserves, you qualify for an extra, whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to qualify that person. But what I do love, not like love what you said, Robert, is that it shouldn't be Mortal Kombat. It shouldn't be that you get up and you try to shove them in a car.
No, I was just gonna say that's really the point I was making.
No, I got that. I thought that was very, very brilliant because, again, if you don't have a lot of ups, right? If you don't have a lot of ups, sometimes, and if you're not trained properly, you try to sell out of desperation. And sometimes being out of desperation, you start to like be overly aggressive or too thirsty or something like that. What you said, Robert, is brilliant. You need to be able to pack your funnel. See, our industry is plagued with one major unfortunate reality is that the majority, more than 50+%, so I'd say more than half of salespeople do not build their own business. Okay, what they do is they wait for internet ups, phone ups, and walk-in ups. That's there. But if you start to turn around and build your pipeline, you're going to be successful. Do you agree?
I agree, and if you want, we can talk about that process because that's the primary thing I strive to focus on.
Let's do that right now. Let's transition, but before you do, I'm going to ask you a question because I'm going to test you a little bit here.
Oh man, okay.
And I don't remember if I talked about this on Clubhouse, so you could use what I said to help you. Just out of curiosity.
Yes, sir.
Is this: how many ways do you think you and the average salesperson at a franchise dealership has to sell cars? I'll give you a hint. Walk-ins is one way. Walk-in spots is one way. So how many ways do you think a salesperson has to sell cars?
It's unfortunate to admit this because I know I'm not using all the ways. But I would say 4.
Okay, so now watch this. For the record, you are a 30-car guy. You sold 30 cars before. I know that you average in the mid.
That's the most cars. Yeah.
I know, but and I'm going to keep it like legit. But you average in the mid 20s, but you've broken 30 cars before. So you were verified as a 30-car guy. For example, if I was a New York Times bestselling author, right? Even if I was only a New York Times bestselling author for one day, for the rest of my life on my tombstone, I'm a New York Times bestselling author. So no matter what, my brother, you made it to the 30-car guy group. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I respect you being honest and saying that that's not my average. That's my most. But let me go back to this. And you just said, even as a 30-car guy, that you don't use all the ways. So now I'm going to tell you right now, guess what? I'm about to Beyonce upgrade you. There's actually 8 ways, my brother. There's 8 ways.
Wow.
Watch this. You've got walk-in spots, right? You have B-backs. Let me talk about B-backs for a quick second. With B-backs, let's just go into, because this month just started. Let's go into September. So if you took hypothetically 20 ups, that's only 1 up a day times 4 weeks is 20 ups. If you had a 25% closing ratio, that means you spotted 5 cars, which means that in September, you didn't spot 15 cars from walk-ins. Now, some are dead, bought elsewhere, bogus, whatever, not buyable, whatever, right? So let's just cut that down. And even if it's only, you throw away 5, that's 10 people that are B-back. If you're able to get anybody in the month of September back in, you know what I mean? That's a B-back. But see, this is the problem with salespeople. And I don't know if this is also your problem. Most salespeople are not following up B-backs religiously for new cars up to 90 days. So people think, so if you don't have your CRM set up for CRM follow-up protocol for a B-back, I know some stores only follow up for 1 week or 30 days. But think about that. In October, not only should you try to get people that came in that didn't spot in October back in October, you should be, my brother, trying to get people from September and August back in October to buy a car. So that's B-backs is 2. Internet ups is 3. Phone ups is 4. Prior customers is 5, and orphan owners is 5. So whether it's a prior customer of yours or a prior customer to a salesperson that's no longer at the dealership, that's still an orphan owner. Now, you've got service conversions, you got referrals, and then you got the lost art of prospecting. So let me recap. You got walk-ins, you got B-backs, internet, phone, prior customers / orphan owners, service conversions, referrals, and prospecting yourself. You have 8 different ways. How crazy is that?
That is crazy, man. It's funny, man, because I was grouping a couple of them together. I don't even look at B-backs. I guess I put those on the ups when I get an up and they didn't buy that day. I still follow up, but I was counting that as one. But
think about it, man. But think about this. See, so again, you're helping people. I'm going to help you. So follow my logic on this. Is that like approximately if you follow the trajectory on this, we're going to go back to August. August, if you had 20 ups, September 20 ups, and then October 20 ups. So in 90 days, you've got 60 ups at a 25% closing ratio, which is it's between 20 and 25 national average. Some people have their closing ratios incorrectly. I'm saying non-appointment, non-prior customer, non-orphan, like a straight virgin up, right? It's about a 25% closing ratio. That means in August, if you spotted 5 cars, even if you were able to, like, you know, again, what happened to the other 15? Okay, out of those 15, some are dead, and then some are B-back potential. Out of those B-back potential, how many were you able to get back in August? Now, if there's any, let's just use this. Let's say we got rid of 5, right? That means that there's 10 B-back potentials. Let's say you brought in 4 more people and 2 people bought cars. There's still what I would say 6 B-back carryovers from August. We're not even talking about July or June, right? We're just talking about going into September. We're starting September 1st before we catch our first up with 6 B-back potentials. But then we have 20 fresh ups that we take. So then out of those, you see, and then out of that, how many gets carried over into October? The problem is if you're not tracking it like this and you just lump it in, it doesn't give you the data that you need, right or wrong?
Yes, sir. That's right.
So, okay, so we talked about we talked about walk-ins, and we talked about B-backs. Now, are you taking internet ups and phone ups right now?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Did you know 40% of service calls go to voicemail or hang up?
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
How many times does it take for your customers to connect with someone at your store?
The world may never know.
Unless you have CallSource customers connect with 96% of their clients' calls and convert over 85% of bookable calls to appointments. Really? If you're not performing at that level, or if you don't know, then text HELP to 855-963-2686 and receive a free evaluation of your store's performance.
How our process is set up is they don't allow us to do that. We have an internet department, we've got a BDC department. They take all the ups. We also have a department that takes all of the service ups.
Stop.
Yeah.
Trust me on this, all right? I have 3,500 rooftop clients, and I've trained almost 200,000 automotive people. I'm telling you this right now. I don't care what department it is. There's internet ups and there are phone ups at your dealership. I want to just show you something right now here because I'm going to arm you with some shit that you're going to thank me for. Your 4 kids are going to thank me for this right here when they get older.
Yes, sir.
All right. So how many internet ups and phone ups do you think that you guys get in a month?
If I had to guess, maybe 35. Maybe
in an entire month, there's no way. At a Lexus,
I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Okay. So what you need to find out, because here's what I'm going to say to you. You're in Florida, brother, right?
I would say about 3 a day.
So now, 2 to 3 a day. So here's what I'm going to say to you. Even with the inventory crisis, I think you're gravely wrong. Here's why. Okay. Right now, what we're finding across the United States is that there's more leads than ever before because there's less cars and the prices are crazy. So more people are researching. What I'm going to tell you right now is national average is about 400 leads per month. 400. You got to think about it. For your Lexus dealership, you're going to get new car leads from Lexus manufacturer, from your website, and then third-party providers, whether it's AutoWeb, Cars Direct, TrueCar, Car Gurus, Car.com, Kelly Blue Book. I mean, there's all these lead source providers. I'm sure that your dealership is probably getting a lot more internet leads and then phone leads. But I'm going to just say this. I'm going to guess, and I want you to text me later on, and we can update this in the Facebook group. I think between internet and phone ups that you probably get about 500 leads per month. And let's just pretend. If you get, how many salespeople do you have on your floor?
About 26.
Oh my God. Brother, right now. I'm telling you right now, no. You've got to be at 700-800 leads a month. Okay, there's no way in hell you have a Lexus dealership with 20 salespeople and you yourself sold 30 cars before and you average in the mid 20s. I promise you, my dude, I promise you that you have over 500 leads. But let's just play this out. So if you have 500 leads, right?
Yeah,
it's even more serious, called the residual flow factor. On October 1st, 6 days ago, when we started this month, I guarantee you that your dealership didn't start with 0 leads because they're 90 days in gestation. Your internet department, if somebody ran a report in your CRM, I would bet money on it that you had at least 800 leads. Okay, let me explain. So if you ran a report in your CRM, how many active phone ups and how many active email leads do I have in my CRM on October 1st that are 90 days old or less? I'm going to tell you that it's probably double this, but let's just, with 500, you probably have 800 leads. Now think about this. If that department has 800 leads on October 1st, plus the entire month of October, you get 500 additional leads. That is freaking 1,300 opportunities in a month. Now let's play this out. If you had, let's just say 800 fresh leads, right? Then that would mean that you might have, let's just say 1,300 carryover plus the 800 fresh, you're at 2,100 opportunities. Here's my point, is that almost every single department in the country doesn't have enough bodies in the internet department. So I just took 30 minutes to cook minute rice. Here's what the reason why I just said all that shit is, if I were you, I would step to your manager very politely and say, listen, I was just talking to a national trainer. I don't know if he's saying anything correctly, but I just out of curiosity, how many internet deals, and when you ask them, say raw, like old dirty, ooh baby, I like it raw, like raw lead. I mean, no duplicates, no bads. Because what happens is an internet director or internet guy, what they normally do is they take the duplicates and the bad out, and then the number's lower. No, you want to know what the raw number is, Robert. Why? Because here's the thing. If your manager says that they have anywhere from 500 or 1,000 fresh internet leads a month, after you pick your ass up off the floor from passing out, you're going to say to them, okay, just had a question for you. Do you know about the residual flow factor? Write that down. Residual flow factor. Residual flow factor means at the beginning of the month, you don't start at 0. It's the 90-day trailing. So I'm giving you that. So here's my logic. If your department is like the vast majority of the dealerships out there, how in the world is just your internet department going to be able to handle 1,300 or 2,000 leads in a month?
They not.
So what I would say is I would volunteer, like instead of being drafted, I would volunteer, say, listen, if there's anything that I, Robert, could do to help out, if one of the BDC reps is not available, if you need me to do extra follow-up for appointments, anything that I could do to help us close more internet deals. You've got to turn around like a WWE wrestler, got their hand in the ring, tag me in. I mean, you want to be like the tag team champion and try to be able to get access to these internet leads and phone leads. So now we went walk-in, be back, internet, and phone. Let's go to service. Okay, this is my brother. You, more than anybody in there, should have more service deals than anybody else. Let's talk about this. How many service deals did you sell last month in September?
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a department. They won't let us work those deals. There's a department of salesmen that only can work those deals.
Okay, so again, so they won't let you work that. So I would go.
They have a salesman.
Here's what I would say again. Look, if you just wait, and this is a message to all my audience, if you just wait for shit to happen, that's good luck with that. Here, you've got to turn around and audition, man. Audition for your position. Let me explain. Yeah. I would go to who is your direct manager? Is like your senior manager? Is it the GSM or GM of the store? Who do you talk to?
He's one of the sales managers.
Okay, so you have sales manager, right? Okay, so what's the first name? What's your sales manager's first name?
Kenny.
Kenny. Does Kenny know your background in as a service writer?
Yeah, he tried to get me back there. Here's the thing. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. When I first came on, one of the ways I sold those 22 cars is at the time a couple of the service reps left. So there was nobody back there. So I was back there working those deals. He wanted me to go back there. But again, since I did 8 years in service, I didn't want to see another service drive. So that's why I came to the front. But yeah, I was.
I'm going to tell you as your friend now, I don't care what you want. Look at your twin girls. Your twin girls want to turn around. They want you to give them the world. Your spouse wants to, you know what I mean? It's not about what you want anymore, right? It's about what is best for your family. My brother, listen to me. If I am a ninja and I got nunchucks, right? Why am I not using my nunchucks? If I got Bruce Lee skills with my nunchucks, no, I'm going to put them inside because I used them for 10 years. No, brother. I mean, like, whip your nunchucks out. Again, you have an unfair competitive advantage than any person on the floor because you got 3 years as a service writer. No disrespect, but what are you sleeping on right there? I would go, and here's how you got to frame it. What's your guy's name again?
Kenny. His name's Kenny.
Let's role play. Hey, Kenny, listen, I'm rejuvenated, man. Like, you know, I got to tell you right now, I was just talking to a trainer and I feel like I've been missing the boat. I know that you wanted me in here before, but here's the thing. I don't want to be just locked into this thing, but here's what I know. And maybe take some notes on this, Robert.
Yeah, I got you.
Is that a service customer is 7 times as likely to purchase a vehicle from when they service a car from. Okay. I think that I'm uniquely qualified from my 3 years experience in the service writer to be able to do more, be more, and achieve more. And here's the thing is that, again, if you allow me to be part of this and give me permission to keep doing what I'm doing, it's not going to take away from anything that these guys are doing, because the reality, you should know this, there's so many more ROs than there are car sales. I mean, again, let's go through the different things right there. One right here is just being able to have a system with the service writers to be able to notify when somebody is in a position or should be considering buying a new or pre-owned vehicle. Okay, that's one thing. But then there's the data mining, equity mining side of things. There's a thing where you could turn around and look through data mining, equity mining, stuff, and be able to identify opportunity for people that to consider. So let's say, what CRM do you have?
Reynolds.
Okay. Sorry to hear that. So this is antiquated, but Reynolds, you could do this too. So you have the ability. Today is the 6th. You already know who's scheduled for the appointment tomorrow, right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
So think about this. What I would do is I would get the list for tomorrow and I would basically cross-reference that list. Anybody that's got a service appointment, if there's a current salesperson that's with them, guess what? That's not on my list. I'm not going to worry about that person. That could either be the service department salespeople or that could be that salesperson that belongs there. What I would say is I would be looking at the people that are either unsold service customers, meaning they're doing service but they never purchased a vehicle from my dealership before, or they have an orphan owner, meaning that their salesperson is no longer there. What I would do is I would go and meet all of those people. Do you understand? Why? Because I would do a couple things. If they never bought a car from us before, and or if they did, but the person's not there, I would just introduce them as a contact if they ever needed anything. And then, oh, by the way, if I looked at their details, let's say, for example, there's equity in their vehicle. Let's say that that's a vehicle that we want to buy because it would be great for a trade-in. You got to be prepared with the pitch. But the first pitch is introducing yourself, because here's the thing: is that not everybody are you going to be able to sell. This goes right into your natural philosophy of what you said about pipeline. But guess what? If you touch all those people have the potential to generate referrals for you. You know what I mean? Even if they're not in the market right now to switch out of that current vehicle, maybe someone in their household it might be up for a vehicle soon. Maybe they know somebody at work or whatever. So again, it's not just trying to get the instant gratification of the service conversion right there. It's being able to tap a bunch of people that are doing business with you already, but trying to escalate that relationship. Does that make sense, Robert?
That makes sense, man.
So I would go to Kenny and just say, look, man, let me use my unique skills to be able to increase, because how many people they have in the sales drive, right? I mean, in the service department now?
Sales people, they got, I believe, 3 with 1 manager.
Okay.
It's 3.
I want to ask your professional opinion as a service writer. Okay. How many ROs does your store do in an entire month?
Oh man, they do about, I think, around 120 a day.
Okay, so then, Jesus Christ, so they already know the answer on this. Right or wrong, is 3 people enough to truly handle that entire beast?
No.
Now, you know service pretty well, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, if you had to, couldn't you find a strategy on how you can get into the service opportunity without taking away from any of the food from those 3 full-time service people?
That's what I've been doing. That's a part of my process.
So you can do that, correct?
Yes, sir. I reach out to the orphans. What you were saying, reaching out to the orphans, unsold people who's not connected
So then
to
my point being, so
salesperson.
now you have, so even though you didn't sell any cars in September from the service drive, you should think of a quota, 10 cars. If that woman from White Marsh Chevrolet could do 18, bro, she was never even a service writer before. You should be able, like clockwork, 10 cars from service, whatever you've got to do. Develop the rapport, relationship with those service writers and get in where you fit in. You have a unique approach. My God, you could talk to people so like, and think about that. Think about the value. And more importantly than that, man, think what you said before. I can already tell your heart by your comment that you said early in the interview when you had said that it bothers you when people talk shit about prospects and stuff like that. So then I'm going to translate that in Seanism. Basically, you care about people and you think that people have value, right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, who in your entire dealership has 3 years service writer experience besides you?
As a salesman, I'm the only person.
Then there you go. So then you are legitimately, uniquely qualified to present a unique value to service customers. True or false?
That's true.
Yo, get your cape and your kung fu grip. You know what I'm saying? You need to get your superhero man on because, again, my brother, think about it. You need to be able, and if you have, I lost your video. If
I'm sorry. There you go. My phone about to go dead.
Can you imagine if I'm talking to as many service people? I mean, with my background, I can help them out tremendously. The other thing is, here's a ninja tip too. You need to really be buddy with those service writers. So I don't know if they feed the other people, because think about it, you might be able to help them with service business, right or wrong. And every time you sell, this is a tip from Cody Carter. Question for you: do you have a service writer like that you like the most, that you really like, that's your person?
Yeah, I mean, it's a couple of guys. It's some great guys, man. Yeah, man, come on. I ain't necessarily one guy, but I get where you're going, though.
Here's my thing. Is that if I'm selling cars, as many cars as you sell, do you want them just to go to a random service writer? No. So my question is, do you have a process when you deliver a car? Before you deliver a car, do you do a service walkthrough to them?
I do not. Don't beat me up, man. I do not, man.
It's all right. No, but here's the cool part. You're a 30-car guy. You're only using 4 out of the 8 ways, and there's certain things that you're not using. But think about this. When I bring them back from the test drive, the first place when I park the car, it's in service, and I do a service walk right there to build value, because they're going to do the majority of their ownership experience is not going to be buying a car. It's going to be maintaining their car. So what you could turn around and say, this should be part of your pitch. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't be this corny, but like, a blow pop, 2 treats in one. I'm like a transformer. You've got best of both worlds. Not only am I their sales consultant here, but I was a service writer for 3 years. What I want you to know is that if there's anything that you need, you go to me directly, and you want to control, Robert, you want to control your customer's experience. You don't want to do something amazing and something gets false tracks there. But what I would do is I would find 1 or 2 service writers that are your people, that you trust and you respect, and they're your go-to. Because how do service writers make money? By writing service ROs. So think about it. All the people that you are selling, if you funnel them to 1 or 2 particular service writers, you're going to be building up those service writers' book of business, so they should appreciate. Cody Carter has got he's like the owner almost, because when you sell 100+ cars a month, and you're going to 1 or 2 service writers, they're getting a lot of service business. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, man.
You need to turn around and try to get them to give you as many heads up and referrals as possible for people that might be a candidate for buying a new or newer car. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, man. It's funny, man, because I had a conversation to make the transition to sell those service customers, man. But man, I really appreciate you, man. You definitely right, and I agree with you, man. It's like, I like the analogy that you said. If you use nunchucks for 10 years, you put them up because you're tired of using them. You're definitely right. I do got the unique ability and to talk to service customers, and I did real well when I was a service advisor. So yeah, man, I'm definitely. I got a lot of notes, man. I'm telling you, man. You awesome, man. I'm really enjoying this interview, man.
Well, listen, I want to tell you, man, I love this. Let's connect. I would love to invite you as my guest to our upcoming conference in January. I have a major conference called the Internet Sales 20 Group. I do it for about 14 years. thousands and thousands of automotive professionals come in, and I'm going to comp you. I'm going to have you as a rock star, maybe even be on one of our panels. And again, I think that, man, there's a lot of stuff that you could do, my brother. I mean, like, you're doing phenomenal. You've tripled what national average is, and you more than doubled and a half what national average is. And as you see, there's a lot of opportunity for you to be able to become, a 40 car guy. Sounds like a plan?
It does, man. Yeah.
All right. So what is your last words you want to say out to the audience right now so they can remember you by, or what advice do you have for salespeople out there to be successful or to do more, be more, and achieve more?
Man, I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Sean. I really appreciate this, man. I'm new to the car sales part, man. I really appreciate this interview, but I just want to say, be serious about your goals and where you're going. I just want to share, man, a book. I'm actually a newly published author, man. I wrote a book called Think Up to Get Up, How to Break Free from Destructive Ways of Thinking. It's a book that's dealing with how to break free from destructive thoughts. I love just helping people break free from self-limiting beliefs. So that's what I've been focusing on, man. I love to write. But I just want to say, focus on where you're going, be serious about your goals, and commit to your goals. And even this interview, man, it gave me so much, Sean, to really change my approach and even how I'm selling cars. Because to be honest with you, man, I've been putting this book together and I do a lot of writing, man, and I've been kind of focused on that, man. But I got to get realigned, man, with my car sales. And I definitely believe I can be a 40 car guy. That's really my goal, is to be 50 cars a month standard. So, man, the stuff you gave me, man, I definitely can see myself getting there, man. So thank you again, man.
Oh, I love it. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have my assistant reach out to you, and we're going to set up a follow-up call. Also, send me a link, and I'm going to promote your book in our group and everything else like that too, okay?
Okay. Hey, I appreciate you, man.
Oh, listen, my pleasure. Listen, I am super proud of what you've accomplished, and you should be very proud of what you're doing for yourself and securing a future for you and your family. God bless, brother, and I look forward to continue our conversation, okay?
Hey, God bless you too, man. Talk to you soon, man. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
So there you have it, the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. This podcast comes to you every week from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you have a question about the show or would like the chance to become a guest, feel free to contact us directly at 856-546-2440 or email us at millionairecarsalesman@gmail.com. This program is a presentation of Synergy Records, produced by Tiana Mick and L.A. Williams. Production and engineering by L.A. Williams. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is hosted every week by L.A. Williams and the Millionaire Car Salesman himself, Sean V. Bradley. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast can be found everywhere, so please don't forget to review, subscribe to, and share the show. Thanks for listening to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and remember, where I'm from, money provides options. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is sponsored in part by Autoweb and Call Review. If you enjoyed this podcast, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave us a review. Let some other folks know about it. Oh, and don't forget to join the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. We'll see you there.